Okay, 7:24 Wednesday, November the 28th. We are still early, so just gonna give some time to have the feed catch up for everybody. Um, and so, anyways, I've been very busy, and I see some people are coming on. Hello, everyone. Karen, Michelle, Sandy, welcome. Um, Anyways, I'm Liz Holloway from Vancouver, BC, and I've been diving for the last couple days now. First, so Tuesdays and Wednesday, just been diving in the pool, and then Saturday, Sunday out in the ocean. So if you follow me personally, I've been out in the cold, freezing cold, with like bundles and bundles of clothings in a dry suit. So it's been one of those days or weeks. I on Sunday the wind came up and I actually bumped my head, or the metal buoy bumped my head, and so kind of like, oh my god, the headaches that I got lately was kind of like painful. So anyways, Karen received her bingo prize. Awesome. Okay, so we're just at 7:26 p.m. and as you can see in my background, you see there's a whole bunch of boxes I haven't even cleaned up because I've been so busy last week. And then this week I'm prepping for my classes as well as team parties and all that. But I don't have much to show you tonight. Actually, I'm going to show you something on a fly, and it's something in my head that I'm hoping that I can swing it. So it's basically using watercolor cards, watercolor paper, the Poppy Parade. You still using the Santa, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom, and then using all of this. Yay, Karen's from Australia. Thursday, 2:26 p.m. I'm glad you're here, Karen. Okay, so what I want to show you is showing you how to create a card using watercolor paper. Okay, and basically this is cut down to 5 by 3 3/4, and I'll have all the measurements for you. But basically what you want to do is take the washi tape, and if you don't have washi tape, then you can take your 1/4 inch Terran tape and rip it apart. Okay, so in this instance I'm going to use my washi tape, and then all I'm doing is using this the length of the watercolor paper, and now I'm going to douse the sticky part without having it too sticky, because I don't want it like rip my watercolor paper. And so basically I'm going to take this and line it up at the, I think it's the 1/4 inch line on the grid paper. So I'm just kind of like lining this up. Okay, and then pulling it tight. Come on. Pulling it tight right across the watercolor paper, and then onto the other side. Now if it doesn't stick, because it is, I got a yucky fly or flying around. Okay, so if it doesn't stick, try it again, pull it tight, and then just kind of like making sure that it just sticks right onto the watercolor. Okay, and then taking it again and pulling it. Okay, and then you can again dust it with your embossing buddy. And by the way, this embossing buddy is on sale, and it's on sale price at 10%. And if you're a demonstrator, you can get it at 30%, or even 35%. Okay, so then here I'm going to take my washi tape again, taking the line and lining it right across, pulling it tight. Okay, and then putting that there. And then you're going to need about 5 pieces of this there. I love the embossing buddy, and it's always good to have a spare or two. And just kind of dousing it right there. And then this grid paper is from the Stamparatus. And so I'm just using the Stamparatus paper. And here I'm going to pull this here, line it up, tug it, and then lining it up to the other side of the grid line. Okay, so you can see that my paper is lined up to the grid line right here, and then every one of them is lined up from this point to the opposite point. And you want to do the same thing for like either one more or two more. So here I'm going to pull another washi tape, and these washi tapes are retired washi tapes, so it's okay to use them up. Or you can use it in your bullet journals, because I have bullet journals that I use. Okay, so this is the tape. And if you don't have a 1/4 inch washi tape, like I said, you can use your Terran tape. Okay, and then I pull that right across. So what I'm creating here is kind of like stripes, okay? And I'm creating a background. That's what I want to do. So here I'm going to take my Poppy Parade, and it's yucky because it's got all over my hand. And I'm going to take my dauber case. Okay, so those who know me, I'm actually in Vancouver here, and I had sold a bunch of these dauber cases, and what happens is that it's got all these 40 colors of our current colors, and then again, like I said, if I tip it upside down, it's not going to fall. And so these are my designs, and I've got like the template that goes on here. So I'm using the Poppy Parade, which is right here, and I'm taking it out from the bright section. So all I'm doing is just taking my dauber and inking it up onto my ink pad. And then, so all I'm going to do now is just going to pull, actually going to add one more strip of the washi tape, because I want it all even. Okay, and then using my fingers to let go of the stickiness. Okay, and then here I'm gonna, actually it doesn't really matter, right? So I'm gonna pull it right across onto here. You can actually see what I'm doing right now, right? I'm actually creating a stripe background. Okay, and then taking my dauber and then going from one end and then making it darker on one side and pulling it right down so that it kind of gives you that streak look. Now I don't have a sample of this. Like I said, I got this in my head, so hopefully everything works. Okay, and then I'm going to pull, keep pulling. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and type it into the comment box. And yes, and please do share. Okay. So I'm just gonna create that kind of like a streak background. And I want it more on the one side versus the other side. Okay, and then making sure that it's blending well. And then again, adding more colors to it. And you can see that the more color you add, the more intense it will be on one side, right? And then just kind of pull so that it's fading. Now, I don't like the harsh lines on the one side, so I'm using my aqua painters. Okay, and the aqua painters is also on sale during the online extravaganza. And so what I did was I got it filled with water, and it's now, I can squeeze it out and you got water coming out. Okay, and so what I'm doing is I'm going to take this and just kind of smooth the red, the Poppy Parade out. Okay, and then same thing with this. And then you kind of like want, if you want less color, okay, taking your chamois, and the chamois is also on sale. You got till midnight to place an order. Okay, so I'm gonna put this down, and what I'm doing is I'm taking my aqua painter and wiping it right on the chamois because I don't want it that dark. And then same thing with all the other stripes. Oh, and then I see Michelle and I see Janet. Michelle asked, how much are the dauber cases, and kind of wish I bought one when you bought them out. I'll answer that shortly, Michelle. Okay, I'm selling it for $40. And it comes with the case and the foam plus 5 daubers. Okay, so I'm going to pull all of this out. And then same thing with this one. Okay, so it's kind of making it like the water paper smooth, and if you have like splotchy areas, you can use your aqua painter to smooth it all out. Okay, so then there's that. And so once that's done, then go ahead and take your heat tool and then go ahead and dry it up. Probably it's going to be still wet, but I'm going to go ahead and pull out off my washi tape. And don't worry about that part that is running, okay? It's not going to be perfect. And you don't really want a perfect card anyways, or even the background. Okay, so there's that. Throw that all away. I'm going to shut this down before I get myself into a mess like I did here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my heat tool and I'm going to heat this up. And I see Lena. Yes, I can also use the Night of Navy as well. Okay, so just kind of zapping it to let it dry. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my embossing buddy and I'm going to make sure that I douse it with the powder here. And the reason why is that I'm going to take my my next stamp, and this stamp is called Snow is Glistening. Okay, so this is till the end of November, which is in 2 days. So get it while you can. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my White Whisper White Craft ink pad, and I'm using this particular stamp right here, these snowflakes. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is stamp, tap tap tap, and I'm just going to stamp randomly little tiny snowflakes onto this background. You can add as much as you want or as little as you want, and I'm just rotating my cardstock. Okay, so then once that's done, I'm going to take my white embossing powder and my coffee filter. Okay, so the coffee filter acts as a dust collector because this is so fine, and just kind of like pouring it all on and making sure that anywhere that I added the small snowflakes is on there. Okay, now you can use any snowflakes you want. You don't have to use the Snow is Glistening. I'm using that because I want to show this off, and it's a beautiful stamp set. Okay, and then here I'm gonna got some powder, so I'm gonna take my brush and brush off the powder because I can't seem to tap it off. Okay, so then the next thing is that you're going to take your heat tool again and heat it up. And then place it close to the powder until it melts. And what you should get is like a dull finish, and then when you heat it up, it should be bright. Okay, I've got a couple more. You want to melt it until the powder actually melts. Okay, and then if you want more snowflakes, you can add more snowflakes. Okay, so this is pretty much done. So I'm going to set that on the side. And remember, we got this what you call Santa's, what's this designer paper called? Santa something. Anyways, this is retired, but I wanted to show you what I'm going to do with Mrs. Claus. So I'm going to take, let's see, where's my Sharpie pen? Okay, so I'm going to take my journaling pen. You can use any Sharpie fine tip Sharpie pens. And so what I want to do is have Mrs. Claus become an elf. And so what I'm doing now is I'm going to just take her ears and just make it very pointy instead of round. And you can't really tell that I hand drawn this because it's so small and fainty. Okay, so I'm just gonna add little elf ears on Mrs. Claus. You see that? You can't really tell. Okay, it looks like she's part of the image. Okay, and then so now I'm gonna just take my scissors, and as I'm taking my paper snips, I'm moving my paper. Okay, and then just leaving about 1/8 of an inch border. Now, if you have electronic cutter, you can also use that if you want. Sometimes it's faster just to use your scissors and just fussy cut. And this is this terminology here is called fussy cutting for those who are new to paper crafting. You see how I just moving my paper? Okay, so all you do is move your paper as your paper snip is snipping down. Okay, then I'm going to take one of these elves guys, and I'm going to, you know, you can even snip off his head too to become an elf's head. A female elf. You know what? I'm gonna play. Let's see whether it works or not. So I'm gonna cut the body or the head off. Let's see whether this works. You know what? It might. But it's not going to be like Mrs. Claus, right? And you can probably add eyelashes. Let's see that. Let's see. And this is just a play, okay? So I'm just going to play with this. Just add eyelashes. Ooh. Actually, doesn't look so bad. So it's like a female. What do you think? Oops. There you go. A female. Okay, so you can even add like a female elf right here. And I'm going to keep the hat actually. So I want to keep Mrs. Claus, Mrs. Elf Claus. And I'm going to trim, no, I'm going to trim off another one. Another elf. Because I want the red hat. So this time I'm going to trim just right at the line, the black line. And then here, I'm going to go close to it, but leaving a bit of a border. Okay, and then you can put that right on top of here. So I'm going to just glue it in. Okay, so I'm going to just glue that in place. Okay, so for those who's never seen this part, this is what they call a mini action wobble. And this is a very tiny one compared to the regular size one. And so basically this This I got at Amazon.com, or you can do Amazon.ca, whatever you want. And so basically I'm going to turn this little guy around, and then the more flexible part, I'm going to pull it apart because it's self-adhesive. And Stampin' Up! Does not sell this, so I can use this. Okay, so I'm going to pull this apart. And then I can stick this right in the middle of Mrs. Claus. So then this hard piece here, you're going to remove. So hopefully there's still some tape and it doesn't look like it. I think I accidentally pulled too much of it. So if that happens, then I'm going to take some glue and just add a bit of glue behind it, because it still works. Okay, and then I'm going to take Mrs. Claus, Mrs. Elf Claus, right here. I'm going to put this right along here, and I'm going to set that aside to dry. Okay, and then so what I'm going to do is I'm going to see Merry Christmas to you and peace. Okay, so I'm going to use this particular stamp set. It says Merry Christmas. If I can find it. Ah, right here. Merry Christmas. Okay, and then taking my acrylic mount. I think that says Merry Christmas. Okay, and so what I'm doing now is I'm taking this and I'm lining up the words to my acrylic line. Okay, and then this is just remnants of black that I had a while ago. I was playing with the butterfly gala. Okay, and looks like this one is crooked. Okay, so I'm going to dust it up. And let's see whether it will fit right on here. Okay, so I'm going to dust that up. And then I'm going to take my white craft pad, ink this up, tap, 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 checking. And I'm going to just line it up down at the bottom. That's good. Taking with the white embossing powder again. And this time I'm just going to dip it. So I'm not going to worry about pouring it all over. Okay, and then shake off the excess. And then again, heat emboss. Oh, let's see. Yay, Eileen's here. I hope you didn't miss too much. Okay, so I'm going to heat set this, and you can see, that the white, it turns really bright white. Okay, and so that's all heated up. And then here, I'm just going to trim this off with my scissors. Pray to God that it's it's straight. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add this right along here. Okay. And you can even add just a little bit more into the Mrs. Claus. It's up to you. So I'm going to just add it to the end here. Okay. And I got a bit of tape in behind it, but I'm going to add more. This is the sheet, right? Okay. So I'm going to add a bit more glue. And then I'm going to add it right along here. Is that straight? My eyes are playing crickets. Okay, so then here I'm going to take my sequence, and this, I don't think this is on special. I think it might be in the embellishment that was on special a while ago. So this is just sequence. Okay. And I'm taking a bit of, do I want that? Yeah, I want that. So I'm going to take a bit of glue and just adding dots of glue. Okay. And then I'm going to take my picker-upper tool. I'm just picking up a sequence, doesn't matter which color, and just randomly picking up the sequence. Now, those who don't know how to use the picker tool, this is the kind of like, it's got a putty on the one side, so when you turn it, a bit of putty will come out. And then here is your pokey stick, and then when you turn it, you can turn it around and use this as a spatula. Now this is a 5-in-1 tool, and there is another tool somewhere amongst my tools section, but it's got a smaller pick tool. Okay, and I forget what the other one is. But I was giving this away for free for everyone who placed a $100 order and actually got a lot of orders through it. So this is a great tool to have around in your tool section. Okay, so I'm going to do another one. And then what's really good is that you're going to lift this up, and then if you need a pokey stick, let's say that I got this and your finger's too fat, and all you're going to do is take your pokey stick and stick it back on right here. Okay, and I think I've already done that. So okay, so it looks like that. I'm going to put this back so I don't lose it, and cap it all back up. Okay, so then you got Mrs. Claus doing her happy dance, or the Mrs. Elf. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your cardstock. This is the thick Whisper White. And now what am I going to do? Am I going to mount this up, or on a black cardstock? What do you think? I think I'm going to do a black, so I'll be right back. All right. So here's my mini cutter, and I already told you that I cut my watercolor paper 5 by 3 3/4. So here I want 4 and 5 1/4. Okay, and then you can have a layer that thick, and I always test it out to see whether you like that or not, and if it's too thick then it might be just too much. I think I like it without the black because it's just too much colors going there. So I'm just going to take my glue and glue it up. So this card, like I said, is or was in my head, and it actually turned out perfectly how I would like it to be. Okay, so I'm going to take that, okay, and she still wobbles, and hopefully the glue will take. Okay, and then on the inside you can add a different add this guy. You can add the elf. So you can take this, take your scissors, fussy cut it. This is the Santa's Workshop that's already retired, unfortunately. But you know what? I still love it. I've got a whole bunch of cutout elves that I'm going to use, and use it as my Christmas cards. Okay, so there's this guy, and then you can add him right here if you want. Okay, kind of design the inside of your card. Okay, so and then if you want, the Wink of Stella is also on sale. And so you can add Wink of Stella right onto the crown. And then onto the ball. Okay. So there you go. That's it. That's all I have. It's actually not so bad, right? Let's see. Janet, yes, it's kind of like a stylus that we have. This is what they call a tool. And so I think we do have a stylus. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah. So this is, it comes with an extra putty if you want. And let's see, what else do I have in here? What's amongst my junk here? I'm not sure. Okay, so anyways, yes, I believe it's a stylus on one end, and the other end is the spatula, like another pointy end. So basically, you just kind of pull it and turn, and then this, you kind of, it's a blue putty that comes out. Okay, so what do you think? It's not so bad, eh? It's kind of neat, eh? I like it. I love the fact that you're making your own background. It goes from the dark to the lightest, and then fade it out with your aqua painters. And so that's all I have for tonight. So anyways, going to next week, I should be here. And I got some new stuff that I wanted to show you that I got from Stamping Up at Onstage. So hopefully, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not sure yet. We're still into December, and so people might want more Christmas cards in the first 2 weeks. So who knows? Okay, so anyways, have fun. I hope you enjoyed this card. This is a very cute card. It's, like I said, it actually came out pretty good. So, good night for now. Okay, bye-bye. If you have any questions, I can be reached at liz.holloway@gmail.com or visit my blog www.lizhollowaydesign.ca and the following Facebook pages, Liz Holloway Design or the Painted Per Fanatics.